Mr. Solomon? Your surrogate has just called and is stuck in traffic. Is your husband caught up in that traffic too? I heard on the news that 2 lanes on the expressway were blocked because of accidents. As soon as he arrives, all of you and your husband meet the fertility counselor, and then we'll take you in to run some tests.
Thank you. I've always known I wanted to have children. See, I grew up with this idea that I'd have 10 children. And that's why it took me so long to come out. Because I thought that if I'm a gay man, I may not be able to have children at all. And I didn't know that I could have kids outside of a normative family. That's why when I met my first gay family with kids, I just started crying.
I love the gays. I do. My cousin is a lesbian and her partner is the sweetest person. They wouldn't have children though. Their lives are just too interesting. I love the diversity in our clinic. It's something we're really proud of. A lot of people have fears about becoming parents. Not everyone's cut out for parenting. I'm here to help people figure out what's best for them. It's not always easy. So tell me, what has the process been like for you so far?
Well, it was really hard finding our surrogate.
Really hard. First of all, we did not have a ton of people to choose from. And then the payment issue was complicated. And we did not know how much we could pay for expenses. We were also nervous about breaking a law. But we really did want it to, look out for this person who was going to help us make life and start a family for us. So
Yes, I can imagine. You really should have a lawyer for that. But I wanted to talk to you more about raising your child. Have you thought about how you're going to explain to your child that it's not biologically related to its parents?
actually, they will be biologically related to us because we're using my sperm and
My sister's egg. Pam will be our gestational surrogate.
Have you thought about how you're going to explain to your child as to how it was conceived?
Of course we have. I mean, we're going to be using easy to understand language so that they understand. There's also the picture book that our friend used with his kids, so we're going to be using that. We're going to make sure that we keep everything open and honest. We've been thinking about having children for a very long time, so we made sure we had everything thought out carefully.
What about female role models? How do you feel about that?
Well, my sister is going to be very involved.
Yeah, and I'm pretty feminine. So, but we do feel that as males we can be quite nurturing. And however, we will for sure make sure that the child is in touch with a female role model, especially if it's a girl.
Any history of mental health disorders in either of your families?
No.
No.
Have either of you ever been suicidal? Ever thought about committing suicide or even attempted suicide?
No.
I'm sure you've been following the media regarding gay bullying. It's really quite pervasive in schools these days. How are you going to help your child if it gets teased for having two dads?
Well, see, as gay men, we have experience with homophobia, right? So we'll just make sure that the child is given proper strategies to deal with this kind of thing.
What are you most concerned about?
We're really very excited. We think we'll make great dads. We've taken a gay parenting course.
So, nothing that's worrying you?
We just hope everything works with the surrogate.
Yeah, and Pam is great, so, we feel pretty good about it.
Okay.
It isn't that we didn't have any concerns. So we wanted to talk about our relationship with the surrogate.
It is so complicated, emotionally, financially, legally. It'd be nice to have support in this journey, someone we could talk with openly.
And we didn't realize the counselor was some kind of a gatekeeper. We got the go-ahead. It sounds like you've thought about it and planned for it and are of clear mind, so I don't see any reason why you shouldn't continue. And it felt like a kind of a test that needed to be passed.
A little positive space triangle behind her on the desk is pretty funny. Nothing about that space felt very positive.
You go ahead. Me? Okay. Our counseling session wasn't as horrendous as that one, but it wasn't helpful.
Not at all.
It's my understanding that it's a legislative requirement that people using a donor sperm or egg have to have this counseling. I know of other fertility clinics that waive it if you take in Dykes Planning Tykes or Daddies and Papas to Be. We broached that with our clinic, and that request was denied. So we went ahead with it, and the person that we saw was not appropriate for our needs. Was completely unaware about LGBTQ conception and parenting issues.
Terminology, even.
Yeah, she wasn't like outright homophobic, but it was not a good use of our time and money.
The counselors, in my experience, all three of them, all different, were upsetting. This was not, exactly like in the video, was not an experience that felt welcoming or soothing or approachable even.
They kept telling me that I had to go get this assessment done. But it's not an assessment. It's not an assessment of your ability to be a good parent. It's an assessment of whether or not you have the capacity to understand if you can handle the implications of using donor sperm. That's what I found out after the interview.
In one case, we were asked about our religions, which was extremely inappropriate and bizarre. And do our families know? How will our families? Will there be male role models? Very similar.
Everybody has, or people that have mental health things against their kids, or because you're gay, you're gonna have mental health issues. No.
I have to do this interview with her in order to get to use the donor sperm, although I've done my master's thesis on queer family planning decisions.
Yeah, it felt very much like they were in a test, and her judgments were that they had not considered things that they have probably thought about way more than she has ever thought about.
I have to go do this 1 hour thing, and not only do I have to pay for the hour of that, I have to also pay for her to write a report on me that costs $100. So it's $200 for this visit that lasted 21 minutes.
There are things about race, having a young black male child, like in Toronto, like there would have been really interesting conversations to have in that session, and none of that came up. Like race didn't come up at all.
No.
Which was disappointing. And then beyond the fact of being in a same-sex relationship and the things that you encounter on your journey to have a child and afterwards. So it was really disappointing.
I found the counseling sessions to be really invasive, inappropriate, and nobody asked me what I thought they were going to ask me, which was, do you understand what's about to happen to you? Do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns? Is there anything we can help you with today?
One thing I can relate to in the video is that they just felt so uncomfortable that they didn't bring up things that they might have wanted to talk about. They didn't feel like it was a safe place to do that. So in the end, for them and for us, it was ineffective.
And I think the counselors need to get that we're in a very vulnerable place. Everyone who's walking through that door is in a vulnerable place, regardless of what community they come from. It's a vulnerable thing, period. But especially when you are already in a deficit, when you are doing something different. My family may not understand. I may have no one on earth that I can actually speak these words to. And you may be my only opportunity to say, I'm kind of scared about this. In no experience that I had in any of the 3 cases did I feel that was even remotely possible.
The counselor in that situation was a lot more, I would say, judgmental or standoffish than was our experience. The person who did ours was incredibly thrilled at our situation and wanted to do everything in her power to make sure that things happened and went quickly, and asked us a whole bunch of questions about our family and really wanted to be friendly about it. So that was a much more positive experience. I didn't leave thinking that I had just been judged on whether or not I could have kids. I left thinking I have an advocate who is helping me along this journey. And that's hopefully the feeling that most intended parents would have.
I want to be treated like the next person, equal, you know? Not being pathologized or looked down upon. I want to be in a place that recognizes me as human, not like something is wrong with me.
Make it more geographically accessible.
Financial accessibility. OHIP should be covering assisted reproduction.
Don't assume I'm infertile.
Don't assume I have a wife.
Don't assume I have a husband.
Please just don't make any assumptions.
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 Let us tell you who we consider part of our family. Be honest about what you don't know.
Ask us questions in a respectful manner.
And listen to our answers.
Learn about how queer families have children.
How about some gender-neutral washrooms?
Address systemic barriers.
This is one of the most important moments in our lives.
Celebrate with us.
Celebrate with us.
Celebrate with us.